Hey, we're Prima Donna. Check out our new record, ST. We're hanging out here with Rob on Front Row Live.
Definitely like the sound of this record. You guys actually went a new direction on this record. Changed it up a little bit with your sound. Tell me a little bit about why you guys chose to kind of change the sound a little bit on the 5th album.
Oh, we're just growing. I mean, we're not the same people we were 5-10 years ago, you know, so our influences, they haven't changed so much. It's just we're taking them in more and utilizing them more in our sound. So
was this like a natural transition for you guys though, or is that something that you guys were kind of like from the beginning of the band, it was a sound that you guys were trying to work towards?
Well, we always left every record with sort of a hint of where we might go next, you know? Like we'd just have a song or two or a part or two that went, okay, we'll see how people receive this and then, you know, see what we can expand on. So there are a couple songs on here that we definitely always wanted to get to, you know, or like do a song like that. But yeah, I think most of it was just we're fearless now. We'll just try anything. I think we can tackle whatever we want to now. So that was pretty much a big factor behind it, I think, yeah.
Now, this time you guys went into the studio with Eric Palmquist, great producer. What was different this time going in with him? Like, how did he challenge you guys? How did he make you guys, you know, open up a little more in the music?
He challenged us a lot. Like, he really pushed us out of our comfort zone. Me personally with drums, like, he had some tracks where I'm a big ride cymbal guy, and he just walked in one day and just took away my ride. And he's like, we're just trying new stuff. So, you know, a lot of percussion, a lot of really cool stuff. He had a lot of ideas in his head that I think if we did this ourselves, we wouldn't have thought of those things, you know. And our other records we've done, they've all been great, but this is the first producer who really, like, pushed us really, really hard. Right. So I think it's great. We always wanted that.
Did everyone get like a specific challenge in your instrument or even your vocals?
Oh, absolutely. There were certain times where I would go in and lay down tracks, and he would say, all right, I've got that, but I want you to try this. And he would just throw an idea at me. And it's not like I had time to think about it. He would just say, all right, I want you to do this. Here we go, let's go. And you shit or get off the pot, you know what I mean, at that point. So that was a big challenge right there, just to meet that challenge right away.
Yeah, every single song on the record, I did my main vocal, and then I did a falsetto vocal and an improv vocal, like on every single song. So whether he used it or not, every single song has a complete like Frankie Valli falsetto vocal, just in case and you can, now that I say it, like you can start to hear it in little parts, but oh yeah, it was great. He got everything out of us. There were even times, there's a song called Love From Above.
I think that's probably one of my favorites on the record.
Oh, right on.
Thank you so much.
I'm kind of glad you mentioned that one.
So that one, it wasn't finished, and we were getting down to like the last day, and we were kind of just like, well, it's not finished, so maybe we've got 10 really good ones, let's just keep going. He's like, no, let's finish it right now. And I think he gave me a day to go finish up the lyrics, and that came together really just because he was persistent about it.
Yeah. So that song almost didn't make it to the record.
No, it was that close. Yeah. There was some divine intervention mixed with Eric, like really going, no, we can do this. And I'm glad you say it's one of your favorites. Yeah. It's one of our favorites too.
It was worth that little challenge.
Absolutely, yeah.
What about for you? What kind of challenge did you have to face with the recording process?
I just like, because he would same thing, like kind of like Adam. He's like, oh, play this differently, play it more legato. He started with sax parts and stuff, and very, very level of detail was what Eric was great about. He took every like verse and just kind of made it a step above, and that's what we always wanted as a producer for our albums. And so, but yeah, and then of course he had really cool gear for me to use. The really cool Farfisa organ, through this cool pedal, through a cool amp, that sort of thing. So I love that.
Oh, yeah. And then sometimes he had that really cool piano he had you doing stuff on too. He had a really cool upright, and Aaron just killed it.
Do you guys normally like geek out when you guys go into a studio like that and like see instruments that you normally don't really get to play with or haven't even like touched?
Nothing impresses us. No, I'm just kidding. No, he had a lot of really cool. Yeah. No,
You just had to keep a serious face though.
Yeah.
Could be better. No, yeah. It was for me. I get because those got a Leslie organ with the the Hammond and all that stuff, the B3, and so that's always great. But he had other stuff too, like the piano, the Farfisa. Yeah. I got my own sax, so I bring that. But he adds all these cool effects on top of the sax we've never had before, so that was really cool.
Now, I kind of like I like that there's sax in the music. I was just recently, I forgot who I was with, but I was like, I feel like more musicians should kind of incorporate, not necessarily the entire record, but should kind of incorporate some more like trumpets or like sax to like music today. Like I feel like that's kind of needed in a way. So it's kind of nice that you guys are doing that.
Yeah, brass section is classic.
Yes.
It's a classic thing, and I feel like a lot of hip hop artists use, like when you go see their concerts, they have a whole brass section. Right, so true. It's like for rock and roll to lack that now is kind of it's a shame.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Now back with Eric. Well, actually, in 2012, you guys worked with Chris Dugan as the producer. How different is Chris to Eric? I know it's two completely different people, but you know, how different were those processes in creating music?
Wow,
that's a great question.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, I don't know. They're totally different producers. Anybody want to?
Well, I think Eric had a lot of ideas himself before we even walked into the room, whereas Chris worked with us more when we got there. Right. But I think Eric already had like this master plan before we even walked in the room and started. You know, I think that's a major difference there. I think Dugan worked with us more when we arrived and started it, and Eric just needed us there because he had his own plan.
Right. So the fact that Eric already had a plan, is it safe to say that whatever you guys had already written kind of changed when you guys stepped into that room?
Yeah, definitely. I think with Dugan wanted to capture, he saw us live so many times. I think he wanted to capture our live feeling. Okay. So he really focused on the sound of what we were doing. Like we played the tracks, and he had the track, our demos and stuff, and he's like, I want this to sound like you guys are. I'm sitting here watching you guys in a big room, great sound. And with Eric, he definitely had a plan for us coming in. Yeah. Just different approaches, but we love them both. The way both albums came out, they're great, but definitely different approaches.
Now with this self-titled album, you guys have been in the industry for quite some time, whether it's this band or other projects. As you guys got together to write all 11 tracks on this, like how do you feel your writing kind of evolved on this record?
Well, it's our most collaborative record. We just really dug deep. We didn't leave anything off the table. We just went, we want to try all these things. Let's do them this time. Yeah. So it really was just a matter of just going for it. And if you look at, I just think the liner notes tell the whole story. If you look at them, like there's a couple different combinations, and they were all winning combinations. It all worked.
Now with the tracks as well, like do you guys, I'm sure you guys wrote multiple songs on top of the 11, but what was it about these specific 11 songs that you guys wanted them on the record?
I don't know. We didn't write that many more than this. We have a couple more that didn't make the album, but we went for us, we'll tour. We get home, we're like, okay, let's do an album. There'll be 2 or 3 great songs that come out of touring, like writing during touring. Yeah. I think we sat down, we're like, we need an album that's gonna blow people's minds and just say, wow, this is not a new band, but this is like who they are now. Right. And so we wanted to really get across that we're not, just a rock and roll band. I think we were already one of the best rock and roll bands touring. Now we want to be one of the biggest bands in the world, the best bands. So that's our goal. I think with this, we're climbing to that, level.
How would you say that like tours, especially arena tours, you guys have had the opportunity to do 20,000 people shows. How does that affect your music, the way that you create the music?
Oh, it's got to add to your, sure, adds to your ego a little bit. But then you realize these 20,000 people aren't here for us; they're for the opener. But it gives you like this sense of courage and this braveness. And so you're like, I want to make a song that's going to fill an arena, you know, even though we're not there yet with our reach or whatever, but it definitely gives you this drive, sure. But we wanted that even before we got the arenas. Real was managed ourselves in some giant place playing before when we just were playing in little coffee places in the valley. But
it pushes you. That's all. It pushes us. It makes us want to be a better band. Makes us want to, you know, write that song that hits everybody, you know, that kind of thing. And I think, you know, we're getting to that. Like I think we're the best band there is, you know.
Nice. Now back to your vocals, the 3 different styles of vocals that you ended up doing. Did that kind of change the way that, I mean, have you done falsettos like that before? Is that something new for you? Is that something that, you know, you kind of had to learn how to sing the way that you were doing?
No, I always do it in the shower and stuff, you know. I like Lou Christie a lot and his falsetto. So, no, it was something I really wanted to do, and I was just lucky he needed to have it to fill in certain spaces. Right. Yeah, he took me on a trip. It was cool.
So now that the record's out, can we expect some tours coming up from you guys? Because I feel like the record definitely needs a proper tour.
Yeah, we have to. We want to.
Yeah.
We want to go back to Japan and Southeast Asia. We've been there once, and most of our listeners are in Peru that we find out from Spotify, and we still haven't been down there. So we really want to do that. Yeah, we want to do places we've never done and everything in between.